Hey, what's up, SP? I'm doing it. I don't know why it feels so crazy. That's because it is. But it's the good kind. I know it. Like crazy favor is all over this. And no, this isn't one of my intervention sketches. Though I am so grateful that y'all check in for me like that. I really appreciate y'all. It's still not a sketch. That you're still here, and I value the fact that you guys enjoy my gifts the way that you do. But this is still not a sketch. But it's even better because I'm finally, and I say finally because I hadn't pissed my own self off waiting on this. Now is the perfect time because I'm gonna do something that the enemy has tried to get me not to do. And that's just to be vulnerable, be transparent, to share my testimony, to encourage someone else to just do. It's okay to feel and to have faith in knowing. So that's what we're gonna do. And answer your questions like where I've been, what I've been up to, why I haven't dropped any content here. It's a healing message that I refuse to continue to allow to lay dormant on the inside of me. So for those that don't follow me on Instagram or just may not know, I lost my daddy a few years ago in the physical because he is still present, and I like to speak that way, and I believe it, and I know that it is true. But that shook my whole wide world. My heart has never hurt so much, and if you know me, you know I am a daddy's girl. Well, I'm a parent's baby because I just love my parents up so much. But that was my thing. You know, like when someone asks you, like, well, you know, what are you afraid of? What are you scared of? That was it. I don't ever want to lose my parents, which is the inevitable, but it felt like not that early. When it happened and witnessing in the way that it did and having to truly surrender to something, not that you don't believe, but it's easier to say than do. Oh, I believe, I give it all to God, I surrender to him, I'm put it all in him, I'ma just trust in it. Well, you don't until you do, which I thank God I did. So I was able to tell him it was okay. And I think to this day, that's like the hardest thing I've ever done, to tell my daddy that it was okay to go. And even though in the moment I didn't feel okay, I knew that's what he needed. And that life is purposeful. I had to go back to those things that I exercised, that I said, truly stand in that and say, you know what, I surrender, because that's what I said I know is real. So being offline and taking that break and doing the necessary that I was going to need to be okay. Man, it was the best decision I could have ever made. Taking him in, spending as much time, really loving on each other, and him just knowing like I'm in it. I'll give everything up to be there with you. That was like my pay it forward, that thing you want to do for your parents, and like buying my house that was mine. Because I may not get to do that part in the physical, but he knows like I would get my absolute best. And so I don't have that resentment. And I think that was the like bearing part, where God knew that might be her tipping point. Like if she doesn't get this time in and love and take in as much as I possibly could, that might be the tip. So I'm grateful that I listened and obeyed in that. And in that surrendering, I really feel like that prepared me for the uncontrollables that were to come in life. Because 4 months after my dad passed, one of my best friends passed. Brittany was also my business partner. That was my sister friend. And though it was personal, that business side then became chaotic. And that was the one thing that I felt like, all right, my personal, maybe I don't have a handle on that. But all right, the business, we got a plan. This is what we need to do. And a lot of times when you're rolling through that business-wise and you're just like, I can work it through, it's just a distraction. So now at that point, I just got to face both of them. Where I usually go to ask for those type of answers, she was now gone in the physical, and I just didn't know. And I never experienced that much loss. And you know, there's no rule book to dealing with grief. And I just know that I knew that I wanted to do it a healthy way, however that was. But after Brittany, it just felt like it kept rolling. I lost my cousin, then we got locked down in the pandemic, and a whole lot of other life lifed. And my uncle passed. And ironically enough, I was gonna do this video, what was it, last Father's Day at 22. So the night before I had like prepared, like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna face this thing, I'm gonna put it out. And then Father's Day morning, my mom called and said that my uncle passed. And it just took me right back. And I felt like I had done so much work to get to this point. I feel ready. I have like garnered a certain type of peace. And it just happened again. And it, you know, it's one of those things where you want to ask yourself, like, why? Right? You don't question God, but we're humans. He knows us. So there's a couple times I had to look up like, I mean, you straight? You good? Because what did I do? What did I do to deserve this? But I had to realize if I really believe this thing I'm saying, that I surrender to this, I know that life is purposeful. That was their thing. That was their part of alignment that I may not understand. My flesh won't understand it, but my spirit knows that it's everlasting. And it's a lot harder when you have to practice those things that loud and in real time. Because it always sounds good to like rationalize to get you through in the moment you don't really have to do it. This was like that first time in life where it's like I couldn't get ahead of it. So I say all that to say I suffered a whole lot of heartbreak and a lot of shifts that were really propelling me to let me know like it's changing. Regardless of what I think or what I say is happening right now, this is changing and I have to get on board with it. And yeah, a whole lot of life lifed, but I'll say that for a book child because it was a lot. You know, I love a good analogy. So I had told my mommy when we were kind of just in motion and going through, I was like, you know what it feels like? Because you want to find that thing. And I think like in relation to when you're explaining something to kids, you go back to the basics. I was like, man, if I had to relate it to something, it felt like we were in a snow globe. And we were the little fixture on the inside, and somebody was just shaking. I'd shaking the table for years. It was just going, and it was uncontrollable, and there was things and flakes that was landing on my lashes. It was just, I couldn't see. I didn't know where we was going, but I had to just stay sturdy, and I had to trust my creator. I had to trust the manufacturer of this globe, that we were built equipped. I have everything I need to just stand. But God, when it settles, I'm going to be okay. Now, it's the timing of when does it settle? But I know that I know I was built for it. I know this is not in vain. And I truly believe that there's reward when you still seek his face through a storm. When you find the goodness in God and everything, it's so easy to acknowledge something negative, or to state the bad, or to just the obvious. But to see God in whatever that is so much goodness in that. I believe that's currency of our faith. The difference between action and trust. The importance of rest and where you gain your power and your peace. Because see, God is plentiful. He's merciful. He's a shaper. He's a way maker. It's instantaneous favor. So he didn't miss your call. You just got to get on the right line and alignment. Getting to a space where you can hear clearly and acknowledging and accepting that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not have the answers. It's okay to not have it figured out. I mean, how can you pour from something that you don't have? It's okay to work on you for you. Whether it's grieving death or a relationship or a job or anything, you deserve. You are worthy. You're enough. And you know, it's like when my people were checking up on me, because I had the best support system. It was so many people that stood in the gap for things that I didn't even know that I needed, even if they were just being. And we sat in a room in complete silence. It filled me up in ways that I didn't even know that I needed. Just my family, my man, my loved ones, my friends that just... God, I'm grateful. I just started asking them, like, are you emotionally stable? And of course they would say yes. Just be there for me. I just started being honest. and saying it, because it's easy to say, when somebody asks you, what do we usually say? Like, oh yeah, I'm okay. Oh, I'm good. Oh, I'm blessed. I'm working it out. And I just started being honest. So if that day I felt sad, the next day I felt creative. If the following day is trash, I don't know. I don't have any answers, but like, I'm here. I'm just being present throughout the thing. That helped me with dealing with my reality of everything that was shifting. Because where it got really overwhelming was it happening all at one time. And in the pandemic, and I know a lot, we were all suffering. But man, your thoughts are loud when it's quiet. I could hear everything just bouncing off the walls of everything I was thinking, going through, and it gave me a lot of time to really lock in and kind of sort my stuff out. Because we live in this world, we see it every day on social media where people feel like they have to be a part of this thing, right? And they put up this facade and everybody is okay and it's all thriving and you've never had a hiccup in your life. And it's not reality. Stuff is happening. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to deal with my stuff. I don't have time to put additional pressure when I already feel like this is the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I don't need nothing else. I don't got nothing else to answer for. I just need to figure me out, and it is okay to deal with your stuff. And another important thing for me, and I know it came from such a loving space, because people just want you to be okay, right? But when people would say, you'll get back to you, you'll be back to normal, things will get better, that was another reality that I had to face. Not that things won't get better, not that I won't grow through this season and this time, but the reality of I won't go back. How can I go back to this thing when I knew it with these people? That was my norm. That was the thing that I've done my whole life, or whatever part they came into it. I was great at doing that. At this point, I didn't know the new me. I hadn't figured that out because I didn't know my life without my daddy. I didn't know my life without one of my best friends. I didn't know my life without some of my other peers and my family. I didn't have that part figured out. So I wasn't going back. But when I faced my reality that I could make a choice, a healthy choice to move forward, that was when it really I'm locked in. I can get to a certain place of peace once I just face what it is. And that can be hard, right? Because that's unfamiliar territory. That's uncertainty. You're uncomfortable. It's unpleasant. All these uns that are wildly helping you get to the root of it. When you get moved to a different pot, it's scary, right? But that's expansion of your territory. That's the opportunity for you to really get in there and dig your roots the deepest that it's ever been. For you to take all of these good seeds, these good memories, these great things that have been put on the inside of you into this pot for such a fruitful harvest, bigger than you could ever imagine, just because you stayed. Just because you are present, you have so much faith in this thing to grow, that those roots grow so deep in here that nothing at this surface level, no man, no nothing can shift what you got here. So I found peace with this season. And it was super important to me to release this video during this time because it's in that window of the anniversary of my dad's passing. This is the first time that I have a newness in my peace. And that I've accepted and gotten cool with my plait season. Y'all know the plaits, when you start out with that little twist or that little braid that got a lot of potential to be a lock and just swing, right? It can look good. But then there's something on the side. There's an enemy on the side telling you, you're going to have to go through an odd phase. You might as well just go and cut it off. Don't even do it. You're going to have to grease and massage it for a year before it's going to grow. But God, I got real good in my plait season that I'm going to work it out. I'm going to nourish this thing. I'm going to grease this thing. I'm going to massage this thing. And after a while, it's going to grow. And that's the beauty with your plait season. That's how I like to look at it. Because what you put in. I know I worked. What you put in to create that foundation, to nourish that thing. And so when it grows, you're even prouder of it. You can stand on that. Can't nothing cut you off until you're ready to cut it off. But your plait stage is cool. Because you're enough. You already equipped. It's gonna grow. You put in all the good things into that foundation. You can appreciate that thing that much more because you had faith in that thing. As you said, you know. You said you believe. Now you got to bet on you. Now, patience can be such a beautiful thing. But in that way, it can get tricky, right? Because I'm honestly just getting to this space. Prior to this video, I had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. But now that I'm all in, it is crazy how aware of that waiting room the enemy is. This is when you're in the wait, right? That stillness. No, it feels like the enemy just know who's all in the waiting room. Like, okay, yeah, you. Let me see whose confidence I can strip and turn that into procrastination. Because I know once I get you second guessing yourself, you're not going to do what you were supposed to do. Who can I get not to move on it? Yeah, you. Whose stillness can I misplace and turn them into an over-perfectionist? And let me see, who else can I get not to go into this other room and give birth to something? Because y'all, I just started overthinking everything. I'm already a perfectionist, so I just started overthinking. I was like, okay, I'm sitting on this idea. I've got this content. I want to do this thing. How do I start it? What should I do? And I don't know, it's probably shocking to a lot of people because I do. I've had all these different branches of things that I do, but I got stuck right before. There's this newness to me. I've grown through so much. This I want to share and this I want to do. How do you start it? And that became a conflict, and that became that thing that was holding me back because it was like, how do you launch a rebrand properly? And then I just started overthinking. Okay, well, wait, I haven't dropped in a while. So, okay, how do I start? I need to do a perfect way to do this. I was stuck in my own way of trying to perfect something that didn't need to be. Honestly, it even had me holding back from sharing my accomplishments. Like, it had me hiding in my humbleness, which sounds crazy. Because people would, hit me and say, oh, I saw your commercial, or, oh, I didn't know you was a part of that show, or I didn't know you did that thing, or you were a part of that. And that's crazy. That is crazy. I got to the point where I started pissing myself off. Like, why would I not do this? My mom would even say, why didn't you tell me about this? Why am I dimming this thing, trying to perfect it before it is launched? It is already happening. Whether I want to try to spend time perfecting this thing, it is spewing out because no one, not even you, can dim your light. And how dare I live like that? That's crazy. So I really just had to start getting on myself. I was like, this is ridiculous. It was up to me to do it. It was up to me to get over this thing, to face the enemy and say, no, not me. Not today. Not what God's promised to me. Because I know once I get over this thing, whatever this thing is, and just let it out. Why am I the thing that's in my way? But God, there's so much beauty on the other side of that. On the other side of your fear, to whatever that is. Oftentimes it's a good thing to have when you have accountability partners. Look to my man to hold me accountable for something. Look to my best friends and my sister and my brother. Hold me accountable for this thing. No, hold yourself accountable. I'm grateful for them being whatever I needed them to be for me. But the real thing was I just needed to face it myself. To just do. You don't perfecting what? We're perfectly imperfect. And it's crazy because these are the things that I know. But it's a hard lesson when you have to live it out. It's easier said than done. Like something special when you get to a point where you like, I'm tired of me. I'm tired of me. I just gotta do it. All that work was the currency of my faith. And testimony is to be celebrated. So why not? So I just had to get over me. I turned my grievance to goodness and allowed myself to get to know the new me and accept my new power. There's angels and all this promise that is assigned to me, to you. There's so many things that are written specifically for you. It is already done. There's no lack in favor. You just got to be crazy enough to receive it. Or like me, you just got to get on your own nerves. Don't let it go that far. But you got to fish yourself off where it's like, no, get out of your own way. Because this is the only thing stopping you. You got to work up the nerve. I pray me being in this moment encourages you to be exactly who you ought to be. All that you ought to be. We leave no gifts untouched, unturned. We use all of them. But the thing is that we use them for goodness. And my mom always says, like, use your superpowers for good. Why would you not? It's crazy. You know the one thing, well, you don't know until I tell you, but the one thing that I was asking God to do for me right after my dad passed was to restore my joy. I would just pray to him and just say out loud, like, God, I'm just asking you to restore my joy. My faith is intact. I just need you to restore my joy. And he did that. I asked God to restore my joy, and he did that. And I had to allow myself to accept that and rejoice in it. So it's okay to be happy. It's okay to not be okay. Be. I would say at the end of my radio shows is you owe it to yourself to at least try. Go get it and be great. The greatest version of you ever. So with that said, I'm going to continue being great. The greatest version of me. I have so much good content that's coming. And love. Whole lot of love. I'm in a place of peace. I'm feeling love. This means consistency. So it's coming. I'm excited about vlogging. I'm excited about taking you on so many journeys and adventures and just, yeah, some cool ideas I'm bringing to life and some opportunities I'm super blessed to be a part of. And now I got the confidence to share. The enemy ain't gonna rip my confidence. He ain't gonna yank me out of the room. I done walked to the back, birthed a few things. I'm grateful. I'm not afraid to share that. And I know that my gifts are attached to someone else. We just continue to pass this baton. Get ready to catch it. So thank you so much. If you made it to the end of this video, or if you just popping in, I hope it was on time. And what y'all say, like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, just stay on the journey with me. And new videos, new content, and all that coming up. Y'all be blessed. Love you. All right, I'm out.